Hello, 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 y'all. Welcome. I'm excited to see y'all here today. Looks like we have a big stream, which is always fun. Apologies for all of the weird technical difficulties. I don't know why everything decided to break today. Just double checking that we're still live. Tuba Moquim first. Yes, you are. Welcome. For those of you who don't know, hello, I'm Dimmer. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. I'm hoping... Hey, Loose Leaf. Welcome, welcome. Tuned out, they can tune back in. Now, the one problem is that my Discord cannot open. So I need to, I'm using the browser-based version of Discord, which obviously is worse. It's a short name. Actual is Himanshu. Well, welcome. It's nice seeing you. It's always lovely at the beginning of a new Global Hack Week, seeing some new faces. Okay, I think this is good enough to get started. We'll let people keep on coming by. People are always welcome. But hello, I'm Dimmer. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. Oh, hi, is registering before joining the session mandatory? I did not register. No, it is not mandatory at all. I appreciate you asking. Registering, hey, Phasic, welcome. Long time no see. I'm going to drop the link to register or to that just copied the entire message that I sent in Discord. I'm going to copy the registration link, which is where you can tell MLH that you attended, because if you attend a certain number of events, you get bonus stickers as swag. Hello, hello, Demystical Coder. Hello, Swayam. Hey there, first Global Hack Week. So far, so good. Welcome. It's always nice hearing about people's first Global Hack Weeks. I love Global Hack Week so much. Captain Bears, hello. There we go. Usually I'm like, wow, chat's really quiet today. I'm going to turn on a light because I feel like I'm being really strongly side lit, but you don't have much on the front of me. So I'll be right back. Oh, I forgot to turn off the microphone so you can hear me walking around, turning on a lamp. Meowdy, hello. Akino Kitsune. There we go. That's better. You can actually see my face now. Welcome, welcome, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about structuring document-oriented databases. This is also called NoSQL databases. They're two words that mean the same thing. You might have heard of them as things like MongoDB or Firestore. Or, oh goodness, those are the two that I know off the top of my head because I just said them in the announcement. Oh dang, Greyvox. Okay. I'm just double checking. It's 2 a.m. in Bangladesh, but the session is keeping me awake. Oh my goodness. Well, welcome. I do want to make sure that people do sleep because sleep is important, but it is always cool hearing the different places that people are coming from. Oh, whoops. I'm totally accidentally sharing my screen right now. Shoot, I didn't mean to be sharing this right now. Dang. Sharing with the entire stream an extension that blocks ads on Twitch reliably. Dang, I'm not intending to do this right now. What technical difficulties? What a big mistake that I'm making. Oh no, I'm sharing the screen about something called Stream Cleaner, which is a Chrome extension that blocks ads on Twitch. And I believe that they have a Firefox version. Shoot. Oh no, what can I do? Oh, I'm trying so hard to stop this and set it back. You can see my hands are typing so fast on the keyboard as I try stopping this. Oh no. There we go. Got it back. Whoops. Big mistake there. Sorry about that. Very amateurish of me. Anyway, hi y'all. MLH doesn't make money from our advertising on Twitch. We make money through our sponsors. So, it doesn't hurt us. That's all I'm going to say. Totally accidentally shared that, though. Wouldn't want anyone to get the wrong ideas. Actually, let me double check what I said about the Firefox extension. Oh my goodness. So I switched VPN providers.
Hello, y'all.
Hey, hello. Welcome, Pharaoh. And I'm constantly getting captchas now. Oh my goodness, no. My VPN is off right now even. What the heck? I can't Google things. And I keep getting this. Oh, that's wrong. Everything's broken today. Today's been just a very chaotic day of trying to stream. Screen share. I keep getting this. So I can't do the... Let me try refreshing the page. I'm not a robot. Oh my goodness. You'll see I am bad at captchas. I don't know what it is. Maybe I actually am a robot. But you'll see. I can't. I truly. I can't do captchas. And if I can't Google on this stream, this might be part of the reason for the technical difficulties. But if I can't... Okay, finally. Yeah, there we go. Oh, no. Shoot. Oh, wait, this is 530 users. I am not endorsing that. That one is 8,000. Well, I know the Chrome extension. That this is... I will endorse this. Oh no, accidentally, skill, oopsie whoopsie. I will endorse this. I won't endorse anything on Firefox. Sorry about that. It does not have a Firefox version. I wish. Firefox is, I'm not going to say the superior browser, but it is a superior browser. Okay, well, hi everyone. This has been a chaotic start, I will admit. Watching me do captchas for 2 minutes. But hello, we're talking about NoSQL databases. For those of you who were here last month, wait, there's an extension to skip this? I can't let myself get distracted. Oh my goodness. So again, longtime viewers of this stream might be totally shocked to learn that I got an official ADHD diagnosis. Oops, that's very surprising. Totally not a big enough thing in the community that we literally have a channel point reward that is tangent alert.
Tangent alert! Tangent alert!
Because I would go off on tangents so much in stream that we needed a channel point reward for it. Anyway, this is a tangent in and of itself. Let me check chat here. A lot of laughs with my accidental screen share. I appreciate that. Joining for the first time, welcome Mukul Gupta. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your username wrong. Feel free to correct me in chat. Thank you, Super Yoda. This is the only way you can prove it. There's an extension to skip these. Akino Kitsune, Manifest v3, I'll move to Firefox. I tried moving to Firefox and I'm not a Chrome user anymore, but I am what some might consider actually worse. I'm an Arc user. Again, this is a distraction, but for those of you who've not been to my streams before, this is usually how my streams start. A lot of just chatting, interacting, hanging out, vibing. I like to build community because there are many people at MLH who are really, really good technical coders, and I am competent, but I am not the best, but I do think that I'm pretty good at us being able to build a community together. So this is the browser that I use, which is Arc. It is mainly macOS, but they just recently, the Windows 11 version just left beta, and I highly recommend. I don't use it on stream because it doesn't work the way that I use browsers on stream, but it allows you, you'll notice this sidebar. This sidebar allows you to have, like, you set up different profiles that are all in the same window, so you can switch between different accounts and states and cookies and all of this jazz from within one place. It does really intelligent, like, bookmarks, but instead of bookmarks, it's like saving a tab for later, and it just has a lot of small quality of life improvements that I enjoy. And yes, Greyvox Live, it builds off Chrome, so you can use it with Chrome extensions. Yes, that is why I'm still a dirty Chrome user, because Arc is a Chromium browser. So I am a Chrome user. Firefox added that too. It's pretty cool. Yes, Firefox is an incredibly competent browser, but Arc is just prettier and works better for my brain. And ooh, I cannot switch off of it at this point, because when I'm like on my work computer, I have different things set up. And what's your opinion on Brave? Use whatever browser works for you, that you enjoy, that has the features that you like. I find Brave browser's ad blocking to not be as good as, oops, oh no, I just accidentally clicked on an extension that I have running. Shoot, oh no, I'm fumbling with my hands and looking up uBlock Origin. Oh goodness, what am I doing? I'm accidentally showing y'all a really good open source ad blocker that runs on basically every browser in existence other than Safari. I just scrolled down accidentally to the bottom of the page to show that it works on Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Opera, and you can install it manually using all of these different things on GitHub because it's open source. Oops. So I think Brave is a good browser, but it does not have enough for me in its ad blocking that is better than uBlock. And other than that, it is just another Chromium browser. I'm also not a... I, as a person, not speaking on behalf of MLH or anyone else, do not like Web3 or crypto technologies. And Brave kind of really invested in crypto add-ons and extensions, and that it just kind of turns me off every time I try using it. That's the link to Arc if you're interested. Yeah, browsers are an interesting thing because I think of them as like an extension of yourself, basically. Like we do so much in browsers, and that's one of the things that I love about Arc is that they think about the browser as basically another operating system, which for some instances is way too heavy. Again, on stream, I have like 2 different browsers. You'll notice that what I was showing on screen was a Firefox instance because I use Firefox logged out of everything and Chrome logged into things, so that theoretically, I've only slipped up on this once, but it was recently, I can show things off without like showing my email, or what I accidentally showed was like my YouTube recommendations and things like that. So I don't show personal things. I have like separate browsers in separate screens and all that jazz. But yeah, Arc is like trying to recreate a lot of desktop features. Again, like it basically sets up virtual desktops in your browser window and things like that, which it works really well for me, but again, can be kind of heavy depending on your browser use case. What's your tech stack? In terms of my computer, in terms of the live stream, or in terms of when I'm coding? Feel free to clarify. I see Brave wants me to put my wallet details in every time I open it up. Yeah, that's why I struggle with it. If you are looking for a browser that is like unto Brave, I was looking at this recently. It does not have extension support, which ruins it for me, but the DuckDuckGo browser is a browser that contains a bunch of it has privacy blockers and trackers, but does not have ad blocking and tracking. So that was a turn off for me, but it is theoretically being developed and it has really good ways to block trackers and things like that. This is another option. I was a big Vivaldi user for a time. Vivaldi is another Chromium browser, but it also has a bunch of like things built on top of it. I really liked the way that it did. Yeah, it's tab management where you can like stack tabs and do like, Chrome does tab groups, but I don't like how Chrome does tab groups. Vivaldi does tab groups and stacks and a lot of different things, toolbars, and if you want a really customizable browser, Vivaldi is also pretty good. I've also heard from a report that DuckDuckGo sells data. I have not heard that before. The biggest controversy I've heard with DuckDuckGo is that they refused to block Microsoft stuff because Bing was the provider for DuckDuckGo search. That controversy is theoretically ended. I've only ever theoretically heard good things about DuckDuckGo. What's curious to me is how Arc is built in Swift and gets ported to Windows, which is not going to perform well since Apple makes Swift based on their stuff and nowhere else. Yeah, the Arc development team has done a lot of talking about that process, and I haven't necessarily looked into it, but if you are interested, they have really good developer notes, and they've done a couple of like informal talks about their Swift workflow on Windows, which is always fascinating. At which tech are you an expert, web dev or mobile app? More on the web dev side, but I would not claim to be an expert. Thanks for the follow, awesome ducky. I am competent in making prototypes and projects and showing things off, combining things, using different APIs, that sort of thing. That is my experience. Personal take, you can never be an expert on a technology if it's actively updated and changed. I actually really agree with that. I think that being an expert is not necessarily the goal as much as being able to make the things that you want to make, whether that be at your job, being able to do the things that your boss is asking you to do, or in your personal projects, being able to make the things that you want to make. Captain Bears, are we learning about MongoDB today? We are, not MongoDB specifically. We're learning about the type of database that is MongoDB. Just kind of generally the way that we structure it, because for those of you who were here last month, you'll know that we did a lot with Svelte and Firebase. And I jumped into the deep end by accident by trying to make a project without understanding any of like the theory behind how SvelteKit worked or how like Firestore worked in terms of structuring your data. So this month we're taking a step back. Today we're learning about structuring our data. The next stream that I'm doing, which I believe is on Sunday, appropriate timing for dramatic tension. I believe. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the basics of Svelte, and then we're going into Firebase. So we aren't going to be using MongoDB these streams, but everything that we're talking about here from a theoretical perspective works with MongoDB. NoSQL database, yes, exactly. Oh! Don't tell me that this is broken too. Okay, there we go. This, I forgot, it's the new Global Hack Week. A bunch of new people are here. My stream, as you might be able to tell, looks different from other streams. And I have gotten a bunch of permission from MLH. I'm streaming directly from OBS with a bunch of plugins, extensions. That's like my whole jam. And one of the things... I just realized that I didn't turn the channel points on. But the channel points are on. Which means I left them on. Oh, goodness. So there are a bunch of things on my stream that aren't on every other stream. So you can use the exclamation point TTS command in chat to have text-to-speech read your message.
Hello world.
Like that. And you can redeem channel points by clicking on, if I share my screen, you'll have this icon right down here, channel points. You can click on that and you can spend them here to make sounds and things like that appear on stream. Those only work on my stream, so I'm supposed to turn them off, and I made an entire project that was turning them off and like building a dashboard for me to embed in my OBS to do that, and apparently I forgot to do that because they were left on the entire month. All of that is very appropriate. Hey, thank you, Phasic, for that drop of that GitHub. I for some reason can't read what that says. I've lost the ability to read, but you have a little crown next to your logo. So I think that means that I should trust any link that you drop. I don't know. For some reason I selectively can't read. Oh yeah, oops, hand slipped and hit Control V. Yeah, I get it. That's happening a lot these days. So yeah, that's generally what we're doing today. With that, one of the other things that I like to do is I like to learn with y'all. Again, there are a lot of people in MLH who are incredibly good, incredibly knowledgeable. I am good at hacking things together, and I'm good at Googling, and I'm good at troubleshooting, and I'm good at making mistakes. That is like what I think I am good at in terms of streams. So one of the things that I like to do is learn with y'all. And today, I don't have, like, sometimes I will come in with a tutorial. And today I don't have that. And they're like, I went back and forth on this, where I was like, oh, I really should prepare something. And also, I don't know what that something is. I know that I need to learn about how NoSQL databases are structured, but I didn't know where to start. And rather than going through that process of learning where to start, I thought that that could also be a learning opportunity for us as a group and a collective. And also, this is a good example of you are now a part of the MLH community. Congrats by being here. You can go to places like our Discord, discord.mlh.io. I can drop that link in chat as well. And you can ask questions like this of like, where do I start to learn this and things like that. So we're going to be working together as a community to help teach and learn from each other about this. Two, I'm also good at making mistakes. It is a very good skill to have. So I'm going to make a quick Google search. Great. I always like to do the first search off stream to make sure that nothing like, I don't know, if NoSQL does not mean what I think it means. And I've just started with a Google search of how to structure NoSQL databases. And we have a wonderful MongoDB article here that we're going to look through, and we're going to use this as our starting point, and then we're going to branch from there, and we're going to learn from there, and we're going to like take our direction weaving through the tree of knowledge, as CGP Grey likes to talk about it, to kind of get to the things that we're looking to create. Because real talk, one of the things that is, I am not promising, I just realized I have something in my hair. I'm just going to have to leave that. Thank you for the follow, Souk Breesy. Sukbirsi? I'm so bad at reading usernames because I constantly swap letters. And when I know what a word is supposed to be, it's easy because I know what letters I swap. Anyway. The goal of this is to hopefully make a project where we are storing something in a database by the end of the week. So I'm like going to be looking at this and going to be thinking about what is a good first project to use with this. Serpent Ox. What do you think about Web3 and smart contract hacking? I'm going to answer this question from my own perspective, from me only. I'm not speaking on behalf of MLH. I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone other than myself and my own experiences. I have not and do not see a real-world use case for Web3 technology in a user-facing experience. I can theoretically think of ways in which the technology of a blockchain could be useful in a back-end technology as a means of storage and things like that. But I have not seen yet a positive instance of it helping users in the real world. So when I think about doing Web3 hacking, especially as I'm a student, I'm assuming most of you are students as well. That's generally the audience of MLHers. From a student perspective, I do not see the purpose in diving deep into Web3 because while there was a lot of hype in it, there is no longer a lot of hype in it, and there isn't like a booming job market for it. And I don't know of any. I guess I'll say this. I think it is valid for you to learn a developer experience or skill set specifically to get jobs. I know at least in the US, COBOL and other like mainframe programming technologies have a lot of value because there aren't many people who program for mainframes, and they still run like all of the like financial infrastructure of the US. So I know that there are jobs like that. I do not know of any good, stable, long-term Web3 jobs that exist. So I don't think it is worth learning from the perspective of getting a job. And I haven't seen a use case where Web3 does something better than another technology would. So I don't see from a personal project and from a creation perspective why I would use Web3 there. Those are the two reasons why I would use Web3, and I haven't seen a use case for either of them. Cryptocurrency, get that as far away from me as possible. The way it is structured inherently on a deep level is not to be currency, but rather as an investment. And unregulated investments are not something that I have any experience with or ability to talk about. But Web3 as a programming technology is not something that I personally see or know of a use case for that is not better served by more traditional technology. That's my 2 cents. With that, we're going to get back to modeling NoSQL databases. In essence, I'm going to write out what my goals are coming into this, and then we're going to make sure that we can learn each of those. You can see, oh goodness, this terrible code that we were writing with this sprawling, horrible, auto-generated mess of a SvelteKit project. Whew, it was rough. Literally at one point, we just called the last stream and switched to doing other things because we just got in so much tech debt in the first 5 hours that it was not worth it. Okay. Oh goodness. Let's create a folder. Under... I thought I had an MLH projects folder. I could have sworn... documents. There we go. MLH projects. New folder. This is going to be Global Hack Week, May 24. Great. Super Yoda, do you think mainframe can be replaced, or is it one of those technologies which won't be changed anytime soon? I am not an expert in it. What I know is years old at this point. But mainframes offer a very specific form of computing that is high, concurrent load at low cost. So for something like managing credit card transactions, which I know is a classic example of what a mainframe is still being used for, the relevant infrastructure in other forms would be more expensive and less efficient. There's probably work being done to change that, but that is my mental model of what mainframes still do. Again, that's years old at this point, and I learned that in doing stuff with IBM and their mainframes, which I learned from IBM, who is a vested interest in convincing people that mainframes still have uses. So there's some ambiguity there. I wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to become a mainframe developer unless you are passionate about it. But I know that they are still in use. With that, let's talk about the goals that I have for this week. Specifically, let's make this a little bigger. Oh goodness, I hate how it can't just make the text bigger. It makes the user interface bigger as well. Okay, I think that's the best balance I can do. First, I want to be able to store users. And specifically, I want to be able to store usernames and associate data with each user. Usernames, user IDs, which this shouldn't be usernames. This should be display names. Display names, user IDs, and associate data with each user. That is the first thing. Then I would love to be able to store... I'm going to quickly ask a question. Okay. We have a poll here going, how many of you know what lettuce emoji means in MLH? Type 1 in Twitch chat if you know, and type 2 in Twitch chat if you don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be mostly 2s, but I didn't know if like a stream before me focused on the lettuce as well. I love the first streams of Global Hack Week because there's so many people in chat, so I can do things like ask a poll and get 15 votes in 37 seconds. Okay, I'm going to stop the poll here. Majority of people do not know, so I'm going to give a brief overview of the One moment, I need to get a prop. Okay. So, the lettuce emoji started 2 months ago in Global Hack Week for March. Is this an Avatar reference? No, but I do appreciate Cabbage Man. He deserved better. This started 2 months ago at Global Hack Week in March, where myself, Ryan, and Ryan, there are many Ryans in MLH, we're all just hanging out and talking in a mini event. And one of the Ryans is the president of the Cabbage Club at his university. Not Cabbage, Lettuce Club, which is a competition to see who can eat a head of lettuce the fastest. And whoever is the fastest becomes the head of lettuce and hosts Cabbage Club. Lettuce, oh, I always say this, Lettuce Club, the next year. This is a thing across colleges. It started as a meme on Tumblr and has grown from there, but we just kept talking about it, and we kind of thought it was funny, so we just started adding lettuce emojis to see and wait until Ryan. This is Big Ryan, Ryan from MLH. You have probably interacted with Ryan if you've been around MLH for a while, and Mary, who you probably met if you came to the opening ceremony for Global Hack Week this week, noticed. Basically, it was me and some of my coworkers wondering how many lettuce emojis can we put in the MLH Discord and in the MLH Slack until our bosses notice. Well, our bosses eventually noticed. We explained the joke, and they liked the joke. They thought it was funny, and we still think it's funny, so we're continuing to add lettuce to things and thinking about how we can add lettuce to more hackathons. Last stream was Ryan's, and he talked about how he loved lettuce. Great. This Lettuce Gang is a thing that is brewing and forming. Well, so we were talking about this, and I wanted to be able to have lettuce on stream. Oh, I have lettuce this month. Last month, the grocery store was out of lettuce, which is absurd. But I have lettuce this month, which we will use at some point. But I wanted a plastic head of lettuce to be able to use as a prop for this. And I need to pull up a link. Was thinking about learning Cassandra DB, but don't know if it's worth the efforts. We'll talk about that after I'm done explaining the lettuce, which is a deranged thing to say. But I need to explain this for the project that I'm going to be making to make sense. Trying to find. Here we go. Okay. Speaking of lettuce and cabbage, my last name is Cabbage in German.
Tangent alert!
Very, very
Tangent
appropriate,
alert.
Tuba. Very, very appropriate. I love that so much, Tuba. And also, Kitsune, that is wonderful. Okay, let's see if this is still up. Great. So I went on AliExpress because I just needed some cheap fake lettuce, and I found this post. This looks like some very high quality fake lettuce, and you can see that they sell a bunch of different fake vegetables. So it wasn't on sale when I was looking at it, but I was like, this seems like a fun thing to have. It's a one-time thing, so I can have some lettuce to gesture and to use on streams. And MLH is extremely cool. Just in general, but also cool with this sort of thing. So apologies, we'll see if I get a message about this. But I sent this message. Hi, Mary. Wild question for you. Is there a way to expense $6.73 to MLH for fake lettuce? I wholly expect the answer to be no, but I figured I might as well ask. It's for Global Hack Week for the ongoing lettuce bit that we are building. And within seconds, my boss responds, haha, yes, I love it. Go for it. Amazing. Thank you, MLH. Thank you, MLH. So I go to this place that I was showing and I order this lettuce, which you can see looks really good. It's like obviously fake lettuce, but it looks really good. But I knew that it would take like 2-3 weeks to ship. So I ordered this during April Global Hack Week, but it wasn't going to come in time. Well, it finally arrived. And this is what I got in the mail. They're seeds. I got lettuce seeds. We've had a very good laugh about this in all of the MLH channels. But this is all to explain that there is a bit about lettuce happening right now that is eating lettuce, that is appreciating lettuce, that is all of the things to do with lettuce. And last month I thought, wouldn't it be funny if we made an application that's whole shit was to time lettuce eating competitions live. Like a speedrun timer that is just for lettuce eating competitions. I love you can tell how much delay there is between me talking and y'all receiving things, which I've worked on. I've tried making shorter, but there's not much that I can do because all of those reactions are like, anyway, I'm very glad that y'all are amused. I was very amused. At first I was like really scared. Like, oh no, what did I do? But also if I go back, you'll notice nowhere in here does it say that they're fake. Nowhere in this entire listing does it say there's like this in here that is like rattan, I believe, is like a material that is like that sort of thing. It is theoretically fake, but it is classification dried flowers, style flower, model number CD008. I didn't know that it was seeds. And right here, May 9th, apparently someone else was like, they knew it was seeds. But I didn't know it was seeds. So yeah, the model number, yeah, in hindsight, but this is obviously a picture of fake lettuce. So I just trusted the pictures. Anyway, it's a very funny story. But I wanted to make an application that was just for timing lettuce eating competitions. So as MLH, we could have a leaderboard that is live showing everyone's time and whenever they stop eating the lettuce. That is our goal for the project that we are trying to make, but we require a database to do that. Hence the lettuce story. You can now use the lettuce emoji and understand at least part of the bit. Half of what makes this is like there are traditions in MLH of like doing this sort of thing, of letting one small object warp and change into this big overarching thing. You might notice shark emojis all over the place still. Blahage is a stuffed shark from IKEA that is iconic and treasured in MLH. And this is following in that same vein. So that's what we're trying to make. Let's go back to our goals here, and then we'll talk about Cassandra DB. So I want to be able to store users with their display names and a unique user ID, and then I want to be able to associate data with each user. Because each time, I want to be able to store timing. Hey, Kitsune, yes, 100%. Blahage taps. Shark tap. That is another thing. 7TV emotes are on. You'll only be able to see them up here on my stream, but they'll work anywhere if you have the 7TV extension. And Trans Pride. Hell yeah. Okay, we want to store timing data. So we both want to store timing and show on lobby page. And also we want to store a record of user times so that we can have like, oh, it's my personal best. Like I ate lettuce very fast. This is the idea where theoretically this is all that we need to store, which again, theoretically is like a fairly simple use case for a database. This is what we're going to try doing, but I don't have much NoSQL experience. I theoretically took a database class like 3 years ago, but it was a SQL database class and it was 3 years ago. So hit or miss in terms of that knowledge. Those are our goals. We're going to quickly talk about Cassandra DB because someone asked about this, and I believe I talked about it last month as well. I believe this is a fairly common thing that people are looking at. Ah, this is not what I thought it was. I'm just looking at the Apache Cassandra website. Open source, NoSQL, distributed database trusted by thousands. Linear scalability and proven fault tolerance. Okay, so what I will say is Cassandra, looking at the features that they are looking at, is designed if you have a cluster of your own servers to run it on, which I know for me, I do not have the budget for my personal projects to do that. And if you're looking for something, because this is open source, if you're looking for something that is open source, we'll talk about this. MongoDB is described by Wikipedia as a source available, cross-platform document-oriented database. Specifically, it is source available. The reason why it is source available is because it uses the server-side public license, which, in short, you can look more into this, but the way that I understand it, this was created by MongoDB, and it is not recognized as free software by any of these parties because it discriminates towards a specific field of use, and that specific field of use is using it as a service. And the history behind this, to my knowledge, is Elasticsearch is a distributed search and an analytics engine that at one point sponsored MLH. I don't believe they are sponsoring them anymore, but it is open source. And it is a wonderful project. You can, just like MongoDB is source available, this is open source, and also they have their paid like hosted versions where you can use their hosting for you. But AWS implemented the Elasticsearch open source code and created their own product that used the open source code without contributing or supporting the open source code and just profiting off of it. Elastic obviously didn't like this for obvious reasons, because that was how they were also making money with Elasticsearch. They're like, it's both free and open, and also they have like a platform that you can pay to use. Redis moment. Oh my goodness. What? Yes, exactly. There are many examples of this. And MongoDB basically went, we don't want to do that. So we are changing our license so you cannot pull that on us. But that means that it's not truly open source because you can't use the code for anything. But for hobbyist projects, for your own business, you can use MongoDB as practically open source because it is source available and free. So instead of learning Cassandra, I personally would learn MongoDB in this instance because MongoDB is designed to be run on one server, whereas Cassandra is designed to be run on many servers or many clusters of many servers, which is a lot more intense than I know that I personally have the money or time to manage. So yeah, if you are going to do this, MongoDB, I'm just going to casually double check the MLH sponsor list here. Hey, Elastic does sponsor Global Hack Week. Thank you, Elastic. Very cool product. And also, thank you, MongoDB, for sponsoring hackathons. Not a sponsor of Global Hack Week, but a sponsor of MLH hackathons. I knew MongoDB was at one point, but I'm going to screen share this. Best use of MongoDB Atlas. Basically, MongoDB Atlas is MongoDB itself is source available. Atlas is their hosted version of it. So you can try it for free. I believe it is a very generous free tier. I'm looking at pricing, not to register. MongoDB. Pricing. There we go. Shared, free forever for free clusters, up to 5 gigs of storage, a very generous shared tier that is free for you to be able to use MongoDB databases hosted somewhere else. So you don't need to deal with hosting out on the server. And if you do that, the best use of MongoDB Atlas, this is I don't know if this is at all MLH hackathons, but it is at least at some MLH hackathons. And the fact that it is so high up leads me to believe it is at many MLH hackathons. There is a prize for best use of MongoDB Atlas. So Super Yoda, that answers your question of can we use MongoDB? Yes, I highly encourage you to use MongoDB, both because it is a high quality industry standard and also because there's a prize for it with MLH. Thank you to our partners for Global Hack Week. I don't need to say that, but I really do appreciate it. Yeah, that is the lettuce. That is both explaining what we want to make and also what we can implement it in. I'm going to be using Firebase, or Firestore specifically, because Firestore is a NoSQL cloud database by Google. Firebase, for those of you who don't know, it was originally a third-party company, and then Google bought them and brought them in. It is basically a like one-stop shop for a bunch of different cloud tools. In this case, we use the build tools, including the authentication, including cloud functions, which is Lambda functions, AWS Lambda functions, Google Cloud functions, hosting, cloud storage, and authentication, which is somewhere here. Authentication. So it provides a lot of things in one package with, again, a generous free tier. Cloud functions aren't included in the free tier because it requires Google Cloud, which, but you can do auth, you can do storage, you can do hosting, all for free in one place. So that is what I have used in the past. It was definitely a very, very popular choice. Hackathon scene as a hacker, which was 2021, 3 years ago at this point. Golly gee. There are probably other solutions out there, but this is what we're going to be building with. But they're both NoSQL databases. I've been rambling for a little bit. Hopefully this makes sense. I'm giving things a sec to catch up so that if people have questions. Oh, hey, thank you, David, for the follow. I don't know how I missed that. Supabase is good at all if you prefer Postgre. I don't know how that's pronounced. Is it Postgres? Postgres? Postgre? But technically not plain NoSQL. I've heard of Supabase. First time you got it, Postgre? Post. Hey! Okay, open source Firebase alternative. I've heard this pronounced before.
Postgres.
PostgreSQL. Okay, great. Actually, I'm going to take a look at this really quickly. Hey, Svelte integration. Oh my goodness, Firebase Svelte integration is rough. Database. Oh. Wait. Pricing? Unlimited API requests, 50,000 monthly active users, 500 megs database space, 5 gigs bandwidth, 1 gig file storage. Free projects are paused after 1 week of inactivity. Interesting. That is pretty cool. I've heard of this talked about. Pocket Base is another alternative, though it uses Go and SQLite. Again, I've heard of Pocket Base as well. Yeah, I've looked at this as well. Oh, there's so many different cool things. Ooh, we'll see. I might change from Firebase to one of these solutions. But the question is, wait, real-time database. Not sure if they support NoSQL or not. That is what we're going to check right now. Okay, no, it is under the hood. They are plain SQLite tables that are generated automatically. Yeah, it is SQL oriented, which I am too scared to use SQL. I know that it is incredibly powerful and it is around for a reason, but I am just a little too scared of it. I am now wondering, okay. Welcome, all y'all who are first time at a Global Hack Week. Welcome, all y'all who are first time to my stream. You are getting a great example of the chaos that can sometimes exist in my streams. I say sometimes, but it's pretty frequent. I'm trying to think, because I know that as soon as I say something live, then I'm going to do it. What's going on? Oh, no way. Hello. I'm wondering if I'm going to go completely off topic for the stream and completely change direction. Because, so here's chat. Here's the thing. I don't like to eat my vegetables. This stream was supposed to be me eating my vegetables and finally learning, okay, let's learn the theory behind how we structure a database. I don't like doing that. I like just jumping into a project, making the dumb mistakes, and then usually remaking the project to actually get a successful end result. I want to completely work backwards. I want to scrap everything that I've thought about and planned for this week and go, let's find an open source Firebase alternative that we can host ourselves on our own server. And it doesn't need to be highly scalable because we're creating a small personal project, but the ability to host it ourselves would be extremely cool. And last time I learned how to use Docker containers for the first time, and I have a Raspberry Pi over in that corner that is being used as a local server. And it would be cool to set it up as a public facing web server with some tooling on it that is like some open source, like, but also that is completely different from everything that I have. Like, MLH is really cool, as I showed before. Hey, thank you for the follow, Arlatans. Farah, I totally missed your Raspberry Pi session. That was, I believe that was April. That was the start of April. We did 2 projects in April. We did that one and then our doomed Firebase project. I'd gotten my Pi together and everything. Well, the stream recordings are always up on YouTube. Now, okay, I'm gonna make a poll. Which, whenever I make a poll, here's a little secret. Usually I've already decided that I want to jump ship, but I want to make sure that people in chat aren't going to be very disappointed. So should we totally redirect the streams from using NoSQL to hosting our own open source database, which still fits within the theme of Data Month. Jump ship, change the streams, never eat a vegetable. or keep the streams. Theory is important. Eat your vegetables to go big and strong. Okay, we have a poll. Should we totally redirect the streams from using NoSQL to hosting our own open source database? Type 1 in chat. If you agree, jump ship. Change the streams, never eat a vegetable. I'm referring to this being learning how to structure NoSQL databases as eating a vegetable. Or keep the streams, theory is important, eat your vegetables to grow big and strong. Part of the reason why I think so when I pitched these, I just started going back to school this week. The 7th was my first day of class. And for those of you who don't know, I'm assuming that college works fairly similar in most places. But in the US, the main semesters are fall semester and winter semester. And then over the summer, there's a spring semester and a summer semester. And there are some classes that run both over spring and summer and take roughly the same amount of time as a traditional fall semester class or a traditional winter semester class. And there are some classes that just run in spring or summer, which have half the amount of time, so go twice as fast. I am currently taking a data structures class on double speed. So it's a lot of theory, but I hadn't started that when I pitched these. So I was like, yeah, learn some computer science theory. I have a lot of computer science theory in my life, and I would love to just make something. So I might be redirecting the streams. A shocking number of people, that is 4 people, voting for sticking with what we have. I'm going to give this more time. Make sure to vote in chat by either typing 1 or 2 in Twitch chat. Way, if you're still here, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I have also been going down more and more of an open source kick. What is this emoji called? Pop Nemo. Okay. That I don't know for sure if that is, maybe I'm looking for some support. All my homies love open source. Wow, a shocking number of y'all really want to stick with the stream title. Let me see what other streams are happening this week to see if you can get this information somewhere else if I don't give it. Thank you, Wei. Yes. Okay. It might show that I'm not super impartial as to the results of this poll, that is my response. Let me open up the schedule. What am I looking for? Schedule. Opening ceremony. Yeah. Looks like there are some good streams about theory if you want it. Yeah, we're doing it. You only live once. Am I doing this? Okay. This has been such a chaotic stream. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Poll is officially closed. Thank you all for voting. It has given me plenty of good insight. 8 people, jump ship, 5 people, stay the course. We're gonna do this. We have 49 minutes remaining in this stream. I'm going to give myself 15.
Good job.
Thank you, Tuba. To find an open source database, hosting, and authentication solution. And if I can find something that provides all 3 of those things that I can host on a Raspberry Pi in 15 minutes, then we're going to do it. If not, then we are going to go back to our original stream plan. Does that sound good to everyone? I hope so. I'm going to... Oh goodness, that's not what I meant to do. Here we go. This is what I meant to do. This is Global Hack Week data. And we are doing an open source any percent. We're doing an any percent speed run. Oh. It might be allergies, but I've been sneezing a lot today. Thank you, Wei. Okay. I'm setting up our speed run here. No, not 15 hours. 15 minutes. Oh, this takes... One second. Hey, there we go. Okay. I've done a bunch of things on stream in the past with the speedrun timer, but it always takes a sec to set up. I have 15 minutes to find an open source. It gets cut off, but find an open source alternative to Firebase. That is our goal. We have 15 minutes to accomplish it. Speed run starting now. Okay. Oh, golly. So Supabase is theoretically open source, but the issue is that it is hosted on their things. So what we're looking for is to self-host Supabase. Great. This might be very simple. Self-hosting, host Supabase on your own infrastructure. There are several ways to host Supabase on your own computer, server, or cloud. Docker is going to be our first choice. Docker is the easiest way to get started with self-hosted Supabase. This guide assumes you are running the command from the machine you intend to host from. You can host Supabase yourself, I think. It is when it said open source that I was like, oh, this might be... Okay. Follow these steps to start it running locally. Clone the code. Go to Docker. Copy the environment variables. Pull the latest image. Start the services. You can see them running in the background. Access the dashboard. That's a very good sample password because it is annoying to type. Auth, storage. What is the real-time server? Accessing edge functions. Wait, we can run edge functions off of our self... I didn't know that this was a thing. I feel so foolish right now. Simple node edge, yippee. Yeah, single. I think I said simple. Anyway, okay. Now the question is, dang. Well, this is incredibly cool. I got the inkling that this would do a lot. What is the real-time server? But with Elixir, listen to changes. Oh, okay, great. Oh, okay, wow. Database, auth, storage, edge functions, real-time database, REST APIs, GraphQL, self-hosting. There's a JavaScript library and a Flutter library. Dang. Okay. So now there are like two things that we still need to do. We need to be able to host our web application, so set up a web server, which is one of the things that Firebase provides, is hosting. And then we need to be able to make sure that that is accessible on the public internet. And that's the really difficult part. Both because I'm on residential internet, mainly because I'm on residential internet. That like my IP address is not static. I know that this is a thing that you can do because people have done it. This is like, we're like going back in time on the internet to when people would be hosting their own website in their own basement. Okay. Well, I guess best way to host a Node website. Locally open source. Cloudflare tunnel is the best way IMO. Thank you. What's the pricing on this? Free plan. Let's solutions by need. Build and deploy cloud applications. Yeah, no, we aren't looking to use Cloudflare for serverless. The thing, the thing that I'm confused about is Cloudflare tunnel. Ensure your server is safe no matter where it's running, public cloud, private cloud, Kubernetes cluster, or even a Mac Mini under your TV. Great. This is like exactly what we're looking for. But I don't know. But you do need to host your DNS with Cloudflare. I just don't know what the pricing, like, because this is zero trust network access. I guess isn't that free for DNS? I could be wrong. Let's see. I'm keeping this open. Cloudflare tunnel documentation. Yes, it is free. Okay. Without a publicly routable IP address, with Tunnel, you do not send traffic to an external IP. Instead, a lightweight daemon in your infrastructure creates an outbound only connections to Cloudflare Global Network. Cloudflare Tunnel can connect HTTP web servers, SSH servers, remote desktops, and other protocols safely to Cloudflare. Oh ho ho. This is, thank you, Wei. This is incredible. This is perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. Okay. Great. So we have that documentation. We have self-hosting with Supabase. And now it is just a question of how we run our actual web app and what tech stack we use because of it. And this is also revealing the way that I think about web development, as I build the project and I just send it to the hosting provider, Vercel. What's the other one? Vercel, and I don't actually use Vercel. I use the other one. It's not Gatsby, but I believe it is the Netlify. Netlify, there we go. It is Netlify. I remember it through Gatsby, just like I remember Vercel through Next.js. But I use Netlify for other simple projects. Okay. I think this is doable. On a scale of 1 to 10, y'all, how insane is this? I have 3 streams after this to set this up. So 6 hours of dev time. That's pretty insane. Saying it out loud, that's insane. We need to reduce the scope of this. Shrink down the scope. The thing that is really exciting is, like, I'm really excited by things like Cloudflare Tunnel, of the idea of building small things for myself or for friends that are accessible via the internet. I'm now looking through Supabase to see how well they're build in a weekend. Brave, Supabase. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Because the actual setup is, like, not all that much more complicated than it would be to set things up to use their cloud infrastructure. For the level of performance that I am looking for and expecting. Okay. We're gonna shrink this down a bit. And is this boring? Yes, it is boring. I never wanted to make this application, but it is the best way to do the things that I want to do. We want to be able to store users. We want to be able to store data. In this case, store a string associated with the user. I'm looking to build a chat app, which I feel like is a good proof of concept, and there's a reason it's taught so frequently, but it is boring because if you wanted to chat with your friends, there are many existing solutions. You use Discord for that. But if you want to have a dedicated cabbage eating contest timer, there aren't any applications for that. But there's more complexity in the cabbage timer, and we have 6 hours to do this. So we're going to store data. We have our username. This stream has gone so off the rails. I don't know how I've gotten here. This is a good off the rails. I'm excited. But also, I'm just going like, oh, no, I should self-host my own IRC channel and server, and that should be what I do. And then I go, no, this is data week. The whole point of this was to use a database, and I've just changed the database that I'm using from NoSQL to Postgres. Postgres. Yes. I've just changed the database and the database provider and where it's being hosted. And now part of me is like, who needs a database? Just set up IRC. Part of the fun of your streams is when it goes all off the rails because you basically debate out loud so we can follow along the thought process. I appreciate that, Skull Crusher. I always wonder, am I saying all of this out loud just because I'm going slightly insane? Or am I engaging with chat and y'all are getting something from it? I'm glad you're getting something from it. I have it. We are not going to... Ooh, yes. Okay, I don't want to create a chat application because there are better ways of creating a chat application. Oh my goodness. I have 40 seconds to be able to make a decision. I think I'm going for this. Here's the plan. We are going to create an application that is going to be hosted but accessible over the internet. In it, we are going to allow for authentication so you can create a user account, and we are going to store when the user presses a button with the user's name and the time, along with the ability to add extra data. And the point of this is to create a backend that can support a front end for a project that I've been thinking about for a while, and that is, what if you did geocaching, but not as a long-term game, but as a short-term game? I'm going to let that hang because I want to dramatically expound upon this once my timer is up. And I have decided. Ooh, I clicked that perfectly. Ooh. For those of you who don't know, this is what it looks like. There is no, like, it's not a timer, it's a start and an end button. I literally clicked the end button. The chances of this happening are so astronomically small. Where we're going, we don't need Rails, we don't. Okay. This has been such a weird day with that just happening. Anyway, the idea is there is this book, and it is a sci-fi book that is not especially good. But in it, there is a game where each person just has a basket of, for those of you who are, I know this is a US holiday, Easter. Easter eggs are these like plastic multicolored eggs that open up to reveal candy inside of them. And you just have like a basket of these like plastic spheres, and you just like toss them around a public space. And the goal is basically a scavenger hunt of collecting all of the spheres. And I was thinking, oh, this would be so fun to do with geocaching, to like have a certain number of objects that are not like hidden long term, but hidden over the course of a day in like a park or something like that, or around a town, and you break up into teams to hide them, and then you take a picture, you tag the location, you add clues, you do all of that, and it just happens throughout the day. Like, that seemed really fun. But it would be really cool to have the infrastructure to log who has grabbed what by being able to press a button and show, I have grabbed something, this is my username, this is the time, and this would be a front-end thing. This would not be something we'd be implementing today, and this is my geolocation, and maybe this is the picture of the thing that I grabbed. That would be really cool. So you had a log as the game was going that you could see what people grabbed. And that is what we were building a backend to support, where this would be a thing that I would be doing hyper locally with like people in my town. And I wouldn't want to like pay for cloud hosting, so I'd run it myself. Let's do this. So let's look at our goals again. I'm still caught up in the fact that there was a challenge for a while of hitting the like stop button on the stopwatch on your phone at a specific time. And on the first try, I hit that. Like, I'm so glad that I was live for this. None of y'all saw me hit the stop button, so it seems like I set a timer for 15 minutes and that is just where it would naturally stop, but that isn't how it works. I digress. That is not the point of the stream. I feel like I've said that a lot of times today. So we want to store a string associated with the user. In this case, we want to store a timestamp of when the user pressed the button alongside which user. So we want to be able to retrieve and show data. We won't be doing the front end to show this, but we want to be able to retrieve data. I believe I just spelled retrieve correctly the second time. Specifically, we want to be able to show all times a specific user has pressed a button. And also show a timeline of all button presses. Show timeline of all button presses by all users. Are we storing a picture of the place we're at or the item we're finding? So it would be of like, actually, I'm going to explain what geocaching is because I just assumed that people knew what geocaching was. There we go. Geocaching is hiding small little caches in a location that you mark publicly with GPS. It's an outdoor sport activity based on GPS. Players use a receiver or mobile device or other navigational technique to hide and look for containers called geocaches or caches. So it's traditional for you to hide like some small toys, and then also like a little, this handbook right here, I'm assuming is the booklet where you sign. Most geocaches have like a logbook where you sign your name and the day that you found it. And it's a really fun hobby. I did this when I was up in Canada, in some parks in Canada, and I found a couple of geocaches. I did this as a first date with someone where we went geocaching in a park, and it is just like a fun way of interacting with public space. Because you like have a little treasure hunt that you use GPS to try and navigate to, and you find that like people have left these things, and it's really fun. But also, geocaching is sometimes difficult because you are leaving something out in the public for a long period of time. So there are like ethical and unethical places to place a geocache and ways of disturbing things and all of that. And also there are times where you can get to a spot of a geocache and be looking around, and it gives you a GPS coordinate, but it doesn't, like, it can be hidden within that. So it just gives you a clue. And it can be fun to try finding the ways that they're hidden, but sometimes they're just gone. So it would be fun to do this locally, shorter term, over a weekend, over a day, and that is what I'm thinking of this game. And this is just a way of basically storing all the times that a player goes, I found it. So you can see real time as you're playing, like, oh no, they found 5 of ours, and we've only found 2 of theirs. We need to speed up, or they found this one, but not this one, and that sort of thing. Okay, I was kind of guessing what it was based off a competition I saw recently on orienteering, which I'm assuming is using a compass and a map in order to navigate. Yep. Which is also cool. All of this sort of stuff is very cool. Anyway, that is like the long-term project idea that we are trying to support. We are just building a backend for this. We want to retrieve this data. We also want to be able to host this locally. So Supabase running on a Docker container on ARPi. Cloudflare tunnel to the outside world. And then some sort of node server for hosting the web app itself. Which in hindsight, of course, Node does this. Every time I've ever developed on Node, I have spun up a Node development server. Node is what I would use to run the web app. So these are our goals, which is a lot. I'm now thinking about what will have 6 hours to implement this. What is the most important for us to implement? And I think it is getting our thing hosted. Storing a string. It doesn't need to be associated with a user, but storing a string to the database when you hit a button. And that requires some sort of node server to have that front end with the button. And then nice to haves are to show a timeline of all. So this is not sorting per user, but just all, and then setting up that Cloudflare tunnel. Those are the 5 things. We aren't going to deal with authentication. It's data week. We don't need to deal with authentication, but we know it can be done. We are just going to store a string, which is specifically going to be store a Unix timestamp. Using to Supabase. Using a front end that is just going to be a button that calls with this. And then we want, theoretically, if we have extra time, to show a timeline of all button presses, to use a get request to show everything, and hopefully have it update real time. But real time is even more intense. It would be easier to, yeah, that's a lot. And then if we have extra time, a Cloudflare tunnel out to the outside world. So this is what we are changing the project to, which is a lot, but I'm a lot more excited for it. Whereas before I was like, well, I think that this is a good project for showing database stuff. If you've been to one of my streams before, you've probably heard me talk about the idea of small projects for yourself are the best way to learn. Projects that you yourself would use, that you are interested in, that you are passionate about. And this is an example of that, where I had a project idea that I wasn't super passionate about, but would be good enough and would help me learn. And I was kind of putting off actually learning the stuff. I was chatting with y'all. I was doing all these things, which is good. It's very valuable in a stream setting. I'm not like getting down myself for that. But now I have like found a project that I'm really excited for and will start this week and probably continue next month. And this is extremely cool. And because all of this is using all of these programs, it would be very cool long-term to have this something that we have a guide for how to run it on your own laptop. Because imagine if this was like a thing that people did, where you just had an organizer who would run it on their laptop, leave their laptop at home plugged in, and then you would do this on your phones, and it would work for the weekend, and that would be all that you needed. That sounds very fun to me. This is where, again, I turn it back to y'all. Questions, comments, concerns. Apologies to those who came to the stream because of the stream title. I know that that is disappointing. I can't offer much beyond that because I do believe that these are going to be better streams, that are better learning opportunities, that better showcase what I am able to teach and to show than it would be if I were to continue down like the traditional computer science theory path, which I'm not. That is not my strong suit. I should have, in hindsight, named the stream something different. I should have come up with something better before, but we live and we learn. Where do I register for the rest of the sessions? That is a very good question. Let us go to schedule. If I can type. .globalhackweek.mlh.io. Is this? That is not the right link. Do not listen to me. I thought I knew the link off the top of my head. globalhackweek.mlh.io/schedule. Okay. Let me share my screen for y'all. Lofash has already gotten it there before I did, and I work for MLH. This is the schedule. You can see all of the upcoming events, and if you're interested in one, let's look at tomorrow, not tomorrow, day 3. There's going to be an event on here that is called... Intro to Svelte.js, which is me. You can click register here, and it'll take you to the page where you can register and sign up. The schedule gives you everything, and then on each one you have a register. We are going to be following Svelte.js for the next one, which is where we're going to set up our front end as our first step, and then we'll get into the hosting afterward. And then our last 2 streams are going to be getting into the entirety of all of the stuff that we were just talking about with Supabase and hosting it ourselves. I think a lot of learners struggle with trying to learn a new technology. They want someone else to tell them what to learn versus pick something they care about and then figure out a project around it. That is, yeah, that is, again, I feel sad because the stream title was kind of a promise that I would tell you what to learn. But I knew going into it that I couldn't fulfill that promise, and I thought that I could do an interesting stream about showing how I would learn that, but the answer is I wouldn't learn that. That's not the way that I learn computer science stuff. The way that I learn computer science stuff is doing this, of making a project that is beyond my skill level, but just within reach enough that I knew what to Google. And I had some advice from Wei and from y'all in chat of here are some technologies, here are some tools, and now I get to combine them in a new and interesting way that I am passionate about. So I think this is a good stream for showing how I learn computer science stuff, but sadly that stuff that I'm learning is not structuring document-oriented databases, especially because we are now using a SQL database. Giving people some more time to ask questions. Ooh, I can explain more the moment that I realized that this wasn't going to be what I thought it was, which was here. Right here. The same types of standard data modeling tools are not available for NoSQL data modeling. One recommendation is to begin with a business domain model expressed in a form that can be incorporated into an application, such as a JSON document. Another important design driver is the types of data access that need to be supported. Some use cases require access via a query language, and others require access by one or more applications. Because no business or application domain is static, change over time must also be taken into account. When it comes to flexibility, NoSQL database schemas are much less costly to revise. This is about how you structure your data, which requires knowing how you want to use that data. And I don't have that knowledge because I have not used an application that requires a database. And that is the reason why I didn't articulate this at the time, but that was what made me go oh, this is not a stream that'll be good because I haven't built something, or I do not have the experience to know, oh, here's what I need my data to do. Here is how I can structure a NoSQL database to do that. I need to make mistakes and build something and go, oh, shoot, I can't query this the way that I thought I could. I would need to structure this differently. And that is the way that I would be able to learn. Where with this is a very good tool, but also is not the way that I learn. And not the way that I would have been able to explain anything that would have been useful for y'all. Hopefully that also makes sense as to what made me realize, oh, we need to redirect the stream. If any of y'all have any questions about anything as well, it can be related or not related to what we were talking about. If not, I'm going to do some prep for these upcoming streams where we're going to download some things. We're going to look at what we might need. Just double checking when my next streams are. Yep. Okay. So I stream on Sunday the 12th, Monday the 13th, and Wednesday the 15th. A little bit of a stressful schedule for me that I am staring at my Google Calendar for the next couple weeks. But I can close that tab and not need to think about that, and instead think about the wonderful world of oh, wait, Skull Crusher, This means that you've changed your username. What was your username before? I always feel bad because I know people based on their username. And Skull Crusher, I thought you were a new person this Global Hack Week, but there's no way. Nope, it's been the same. No, you're joking. Seriously, I forgot someone's username? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so sad. I lurk a lot. Well, hi. It's nice to interact with you in this way. How is the expensive synth that you were testing over Xmas break? You were asking this as an honest question. Everything worked out okay. But I freaked myself out and returned it the day after I got it. And I got a slightly nasty email from Amazon going, "You return a lot of things. Are you good? Have you read our terms of service?" So everything's fine, but that was an uncomfortable time, to say the least. I thought I was being a big brain genius. I was not. I have since learned the valuable lesson that yeah, stay in your lane as it pertains to large corporations. Yeah, all of this is very appropriate. Okay. With that, I'm going to start thinking about out loud with y'all what the next steps are. Which it is, we are not using SvelteKit. We are not using SvelteKit. SvelteKit is Svelte's like full stack, like style setup. Just making sure that it didn't end poorly. It did not end poorly. Thankfully. It could have ended so poorly. I had a thought. You can tell it's the end of the stream. Oh, we are not using SvelteKit. SvelteKit is Svelte's alternative to like Next.js. We are just going to use Svelte for a single page application that will have a button that you press that will store the current Unix timestamp to the database. And we will leave a spot for reading the data, but we are not going to build that out at first. We're just going to build a simple Svelte app with one button that calls an API. That is our full Svelte app. Then, from the perspective of setting up Supabase, all we are setting up is storage at first. So we set up the database. We don't need to deal with authentication. We don't need to deal with file storage. We don't need to deal with any of that. Just database storage. And not even real-time storage. We can deal with real-time storage later. Reading from the database is going to be another thing, but we'll deal with that later. Then we integrate the two. So it goes Svelte application, Supabase, integrating the two. Deploying Svelte. So Supabase, for it to be running, has to be running on that server over there. Deploying Svelte. And then it would be deploying both of them through Cloudflare. So it is front-end database integration, and then hosting. That is the progression. And a minimum viable product is an application that y'all can open and press a button, and my local database receives the timestamp from the time that you press the button at. That is the goal of this project. Not even displaying them. We'll just keep them in the database from now. Cohesion FPS, thanks for the follow. We will just store it in the database, and we can read it from the database later. Okay. We're doing this. I think that this is going to be good. I don't have anything else to say, and I don't want to get started. I know that I have 8 minutes. So I know if I get started now, it is going to be a bad experience for y'all because I'm going to be going fast. And also, I'm totally going to lose my place between now and Sunday. And that'll make for an even worse stream on Sunday where I'm like, oh, I was halfway through setup, and what did I do? So there's nothing more to do. So what is Supabase? I know MySQL, Postgres, and MS SQL, but not clear on Supabase. Let's take a look. So Supabase, to my understanding, which is looking at the website for like 5 minutes or whatever I've done today, it is a collection of... We're going to see if I'm a robot. Oh my goodness. I always wonder if it's because I don't... Please try again. I am a robot. I cannot look at Supabase. Motorcycles. Bicycle. Motorcycle. Please try again. I'm a robot. I am a robot. Select fire hydrant. Fire hydrant. Fire hydrant. Fire hydrant. Fire hydrant. No fire hydrant. No fire hydrant. No, no, no. Thank goodness. Okay. But that's... I'm not looking for... Wait, I had a capture that said select the bicycle, and it was a crosswalk image of a bicycle, and I didn't know what to do. Oh! I just understood what that was. Oh my goodness, that's deranged. That's absolutely deranged. A painted image of a bicycle doesn't count as a bicycle, does it? No, I wouldn't say so. I would avoid admitting to being a robot. Thank you, Pharaoh. And Kitsune, I've never had an issue with these. You might actually be a robot. I am not a robot. I promise I am not a robot. I'm too mentally ill to be a robot. If I were a robot, I would be able to, I don't know. Anyway. So Supabase, the way that I understand it, is its use is we're underutilizing it, where we could run our own Postgres instance, PostgreSQL, our own PostgreSQL instance. Yeah, because it is open source. So we could just host our own open source database instance. But by running it through Supabase, we also combine it with other open source authentication, APIs, edge functions, real-time subscriptions, vector embeddings, and file storage options. So it is taking, to my knowledge, other open source applications, unless some of these are written by Supabase itself, and combining into the one place. Because that was the argument behind Firebase of why you would use it, is because it combines all of these things into one, instead of you needing to set up and deal with them each individually. So that is, like, Skull Crusher, that is the answer to, like, why we are using Supabase and, like, what it is. Where it is PostgreSQL. Like, that is what we are going to be using. And we could just set up our own instance of that. But this gives us, theoretically, more flexibility of being able to do more things with it in the future, of being able to just turn on authentication to have users and turn on real-time subscriptions to have our front-end update automatically as people do things. Does it have Svelte support? It does. Great. With Svelte Kit, no. I don't want it to be with Svelte Kit. I just want it to be with Svelte. Okay, let's take a look at this. Superbase client library, Superbase client. React. Add some sample database to your database and query the data from a Vue app. Great. React, query the data from a React app. Yeah, that's all that I want. Superbase.js. I'm looking now at SvelteKit. Superbase.js. Under lib, create a client. See, yeah, this is... I can't... I'm very aware that we have 2 minutes. Okay, I don't know what Svelte or SvelteKit is. This is theoretically what the next stream will be about, and it might go as well as this one, where we might not end up being able to use Svelte. Svelte is a front-end web framework that is pre-compiled, very compact, that only uses HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is the beauty of it, that you just use these 3 things, but it builds in scope styling, state management, which is very important, motion primitives, form bindings, and more. Don't waste time trawling NPM for the bare essentials. It's all there. Where the idea is, reactivity is the best example. This is the code. Script, let count equals 0. Function, handle click, count plus 1. Button, clicked, count. Count equals 1. Time times on click, handle click. That's all it is. And it works. And I love this. This demo right here is what convinced me to use Svelte, because it was the fact that it dealt with these statefully without needing to set up any of the state stuff and like the boilerplate of React. That this is a Svelte page, and this can run as its entire website. So we are going to be using this, just basically one file that we can then run as an HTML CSS website, because it compiles to HTML CSS. And we are going to host this. Oh, that means it can't be hosted on Node. We'll find an open source hosting alternative. We might be setting up like an Apache web server or something deranged like that. But it allows us to, for simple apps, write very little code. That is the point of Svelte, and that is what we will be doing next time. SvelteKit is more complicated because it allows you to create full stack web applications in Svelte by dealing with your pages, your serverless functions, your all of these different things that are rendered server side and client side and rehydration and you name it, it's there. It is the equivalent between React and using a React framework and using Next.js, which deals with, it is React and it is a React framework, but it deals with so much else on top of it. With that, it is 6 p.m., so my time is up. Thank you all so much for coming. This has been a wonderful stream, a little bit of an overwhelming stream, but a wonderful stream. After this, with Zane, we have Getting Started with Arduino, starting this right after. Well, Superbase has a static file hosting piece as well. Yes, I saw that. I didn't realize it was static file hosting. I thought it was like a file store alternative, but I will learn more about this in the future. With that, it is 6, so stick around for Getting Started with Arduino with Zane. Thank you all so much for coming. Happy hacking, and keep it crispy, y'all. Bye. Recordings are going to be up on the MLH YouTube channel, and we've dropped all the links in chat for the places where you can get the schedule, for where you can register, all that. See y'all on Sunday.